Hi, I'm Tim Ellis, and thank you for joining us for Laneway Live. Every night this week, we're coming to you from a different part of the Laneway Theatre. Tonight, we're in the Keller Piano Corner, as it's known by absolutely nobody. But tonight's guest is known by everybody. She's the creator of the world-famous Raven deck and comes to us direct from Stockholm, Sweden. Please welcome Caroline Raven.
Have some sort of relationship to magic. Many of us have seen a magician on TV. Maybe you've even been to a magic show. Our mind goes to, that's impossible. We get baffled thinking, no. Is the true art of astonishment, and we used to be astonished by the things that we didn't understand, by the world around us.
Well, we have crossed live to Stockholm, Sweden. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm getting worn out. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I started doing these Laneway Lives. This is 18 or 19. I'm losing track. So many interviews, but with so many fascinating people. How has...
Are you doing it a daily thing?
Yeah, every day.
Wow.
Probably would have been better to do a weekly thing, but I didn't really think coronavirus was going to last quite as long. I think I'll probably get up to about 300 before we finish.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Why do I commit myself to these things? So how is it in Sweden? I know you were doing a tour in September, October. I was a lecture tour or something?
No, it's a theater tour, but we will probably need to postpone it. Sweden is not under lockdown or anything right now. We are being very liberal about this whole virus thing, and we're probably going to get a lot of either shit or, like praise for what we're doing. Schools are open. Everyone is allowed to go to work. The public transportation is going. The restaurants are open. But there is this limit of 50 people for like an event. So you can't do like the funerals for more people, or you can't do, like parties or anything like that. But we have a very different strategy here. And as a business owner, for me, it feels like it's a good idea to keep the business rolling, So I try to every day go out and buy something, either, a flower or lunch or just something to support the local community. Because I think it's going to be dangerous if we let every shop close down and the restaurant go bankrupt, and it's not going to be good for me in the long run. So that's what we're currently doing, trying to keep society up. but not everyone is agreeing with this. So I get a lot of shit for being out,
So have you heard about this coronavirus thing?
I have, yeah, and it is very dangerous. And so I don't know the word for this, but like the national health people, they're saying that if you don't have any symptoms, you're still allowed to go out and still live your life. And as soon as you feel something, please don't go to work. Please don't go in the public transportation. Wash your hands. And we do have like restrictions like that. But other than that, we're basically just, I think the plan is to like flatten the curve. So we want and we know that people are going to get sick and people are going to get, they're going to die. It's going to be very, very sad. But we want the curve to be very flat and like create some sort of community immunity, I guess. That's a nice rhyme, isn't it?
The herd immunity theory.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I think it's working quite good because, Sweden is not that infected by this, I guess. Currently there are probably like 6,000 or 7,000 people who have gotten it, but most of them are really old people, and I think it's like maybe 400 people who have died. But all of them are very old or had either asthma or cancer or anything like that. So, and I'm not in a risk group or anything. So we're basically not encouraged, but well, yeah, in a way, to keep living our lives. And even the guy who is the head of this health thing, he goes out to restaurants as well, and which is a good thing, I think. Very controversial.
Controversial would be another word for it. Yeah, because they haven't actually discovered yet if people become immune to it if they get it, because they have seen some people who have got it and then got it again after they recovered. And of course, people are asymptomatic for 14 days, during which period they can infect other people. So it is a controversial approach. Right. We'll sit back and watch and see what happens.
Yes, we'll see. Sweden is always, a little different whenever it comes to things. So I guess we're going to have to see. But in a way, it kind of feels like it's not really the best thing to do, but a good thing to do to keep society rolling. And it's, I was talking to my dad about this the other day. My dad is a politician, so that could be worth knowing. And I told him that my view of this, like in the business part of this, I'd rather see society like people get sick for us being able to work outside and being able to like keep the economy rolling than to shut down everything and see companies go bankrupt and see depression and see, what was it called when you have abuse in the home and stuff like that. I'd rather see that. And my dad, he's like, you do know I'm in the risk zone, right? So I could die from this. And I was like, Dad, I'm not saying I want you to die. But, he's like hearing that part of it. But, that's just my political view of it.
Yeah, it's going to affect everybody. I know that Dana Daniels was very sick with it. He's recovering. And a couple other magicians have been impacted quite severely. But I know my parents are in their 80s. And they're in a retirement village, but we can't go and visit them because if we do and happen to be asymptomatic, that's it. It's a transformation of the world at the moment. A lot of people are saying it's like the world's hit the reset button and said, okay, everyone, you've been too fast. Slow down. This time, just slow down.
Yeah.
But I guess close-up shows are popular at the moment.
Oh, yeah. So you get a huge discount on that. I actually did a couple of after-work parties. So people actually paid me money to perform magic on a camera, which was great. So, so that's something. If you guys are watching this at home and you don't know what to do with yourself and you want to be able to perform, do a close-up show on a camera. It was actually a lot of fun. They didn't feel like a lot of money or anything, but there was this company who they decided to have an after-work party. So everyone bought their own beer and had it at home and we're ready for an after-work. And I showed up, and that trick where you have like a ketchup bottle inside a paper bag and you just scroll it up and it's gone. I did that, but I produced a Corona bottle and I drank the beer, and they loved that so much. They were like, "Oh my God, this is perfect."
That's not too soon. Not too soon.
No, not too soon. Not here, anyways.
Wow, you definitely have a different approach to everywhere else in the world.
Yes, we do, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah.
Now you've mentioned your tour, your stage shows have been cancelled for the moment or postponed. Can you tell us a little bit about those stage shows? Because most people only know you for your close-up and your cardistry.
Yes, interesting thing. I'm not really a close-up magician, but my social media tells everyone that I am. I'm currently working a lot on cruises, and well, not right now because I'm not allowed.
No,
And hopefully I will pretty soon. Yeah, right. It's going to be very ridiculous. But I do like a bigger theater. So 2018, I started touring with Where the Magic Happens was the name of the show. And I wanted the show to start with like a messy bed on the stage and then roll it out. And my agent loved the idea for 2 seconds. And then she was like, no, we're not going to do that. So, but I like that idea. Like Where the Magic Happens with a bed, just, you know. But yeah, so we decided after that tour to do another tour just like it. So we're currently working on the new show. The working name is My Wand is Longer Than Yours. But we're not going to use that name because she doesn't like that name either because she's, you know, very political correct. But she wants the kids to pay.
Material.
Yeah, it's a comedy show. So for the tour, we had a 16-year limit to get in, which was great. You know, you never get to perform that when you're doing like corporate shows or close-up shows or anything like that because you have to keep it very, you know, nice. And I like going a little more edgy. You know that trick, Celebrity Smartass, one of my absolute favorite tricks. So for those of you who don't know it, you have an envelope, someone sits on it, and inside there's a photo of someone. And the spectator gets to like take a deck of cards with different names and toss them away. And at the end, there's one card, and hopefully they're sitting on that person. And so when they say names like Brad Pitt, I say, oh, I don't know about you, but that's a face I would like to sit on. You know, those kinds of jokes. And you can't do that if it's not your theater and you sold the tickets, and especially not on cruises. I would get, you know, banned. Yeah, so we decided to do another tour, and we're doing the same theaters, like the same size. So it's approximately 500 to 700, and it's going to be a 10-city tour. It's not huge or anything. Solo show, approximately 80 minutes, and no intermission. Just a, you know, nice show. That's the idea.
Yeah, and as far as your close-up that you don't do, you're
no, I do it. It's not my main thing.
Heavily known on social media for all that sort of thing. With especially now you've brought out your Raven cards.
Hey guys, my name is Caroline Raun and I am a magician. I teamed up a couple of months ago with Lorenzo at Stockholm 17, who is a playing card designer. We decided to make a semi-custom playing card deck with a perfectly balanced backside. So we decided to name the deck of cards Raun playing cards, since that's my last name. Raun is Danish and it means raven. So as you can see on the backside, there's a lot of ravens on it, and it's a tribute to Hugin and Munin, if you guys know your Nordic mythology. As a full-time magic professional, it was important for me to not have the deck too modified, so the front is semi-custom. For the designer, Stockholm 17, it was very important to have the backside perfectly balanced, so we worked on the deck for months before we could give you this, if you ask me, beautiful piece of work. So during the design process, we decided to include some very cool features. So it's actually my hand on the side, and a lot of details all over, both on the green one and the red one. So in Sweden, we have both magicians, as myself. We have very good cardists, among them Birger Karlsson, who's also in the video. We have a great playing card designer, which is Stockholm 17. So we wanted to include all of those three art forms, if you may. So ever since me and Stockholm 17 started sharing the pictures of Raun playing cards, we've been getting a lot of likes, comments, and shares. So a big thank you for all of that. And I also want to say a big thank you for backing our project.
That was a Kickstarter project, is that right?
It was. It's been 3 so far.
3
So
decks.
we have 7 decks on the market. Yeah, there's actually 7 decks, but I have 6 of them over here. I go get them. And we're currently working on 2 more. So this is the collection, -1. So these 2 were the first edition, second, and then it's pretty cool. Yeah, so we're working on 2 more, but we were actually going to put the Kickstarter up in last week of April. But because of the coronavirus, we decided to postpone it because, you know, everyone is currently worried about the situation, and we don't know when we're going to be earning money again. Which is it's very scary. You know, for me, it's in like 48 hours, I lost all of my work. Like, you know, I was talking to my agent on the phone for 12 minutes. During those 12 minutes, we got 16 cancellations. It was ridiculous. And she was like, I don't know what to do. And no one knows what to do. You basically just have to find other ways to support yourself, support your family. And in my case, I found something called Patreon. So I have a Patreon page where people who like my work, and this is a tip, you guys, if you have like a fan base that would like to support you, because there's a lot of nice people out there who would like what we do, put up a Patreon page and offer them something. Don't do anything, like everything for free, I guess. It's some things you could do. But what I see because I work a lot of an MC in Sweden. So what I see in like the local community of public speakers and MCs is that they're giving away all of their material for free. And I think that's going to hurt the industry a lot, because if they can get a lecture for free online, why would they pay, I don't know, $10,000 or whatever for them to come join their next event? And I think that's going to be bad for us. So if you can find a way to give away to the community, give away to your audience, but have it be some part of it being something like supports you and supports your life, I think that's a good way to go about it, because people are not expecting us to give it away for free, you know, even though they're scrolling. That's all they're doing right now. They're just scrolling their Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. But I think there needs to be a way to make a business out of what we have, because we're all, you know, superheroes, and we have something that they don't. So don't give too much away for free.
And the social media seems to be a very special area that you have really mastered. And you gave a lecture yesterday for Share Magic Live about that topic.
I only had 15 minutes, and it's very hard to cover such a big, you know, thing in 15 minutes. But I work a lot with my social media where I want people to feel inspired, and it's easier for me to share photos and videos of close-up, because I don't want people to, you know, see all of my stage show and, you know, take it, because people do. It's a very, very hard balance thing to have, I guess. But when I do my Instagram, I try to make it very engaging. Like a couple of days ago, I posted a photo where I just asked if you could spend one day with me, what would we do during that day? And people were, I think, got like 100 comments or something. I had the greatest ideas. And now, if I want to, I could go on and do like a live Instagram or YouTube thing where we do that thing. You know, maybe create a new trick, or talk about the cards, or learn a cardistry move, or invite someone and do an interview like we're doing right now. Because people have great ideas, and I can't come up with all of that myself. I have other things to think about. I got a puppy yesterday. I mean, I don't have the time for that. So, yeah, find a way to like talk to your audience. And something that I see a lot of people do is to have a closed account. And that's impossible to grow your Instagram if people can't see your feed, right? So step number 1, have an open feed. Step number 2, be engaging and have fun with it. I've been seeing a lot of magicians who do, I call it crouch magic. You know, you just see, this is what you see in the video, and crouch magic, And for me, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, because I mean, you're the performer. If they just want to see trick, they can go to like Jabrizi's, I guess, and they don't even react to what happened. No offense, Jabrizi, but you know. Try to do something where your face is always seen, and engage them and ask questions. There's even ways to do it on your Instagram stories. Like you take a photo, and then if you have the photo like this, you just I have so many messages, and you just swipe up. There's going to be either questions or mentions, or you can do polls. To just interact with people, and if you do the questions, make sure you actually answer them. Because people want to know. People are curious. I mean, how often do you get to have a one-on-one with a magician like this? Because we have so many secrets. So yeah, I think that's a good way.
Yeah, that's one of the keys with the virtual shows. It's not the tricks. The tricks are not that important. I mean, they want to see tricks that amaze them and make them think, but they also want to hear about the stories about the tricks and about the performers. And I think somebody was saying the other day, the main thing on the internet is people want genuineness. They want authenticity on the internet. They don't want to have fake news.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why so many influencers are failing right now, I think, because they just share, this is my razor that I use, or this is the kind of makeup remover I use. And then the next video, when they're doing a vlog, they're using something completely different. So we need to find a way, us influencers, because I kind of put myself in that category, we need to find a way to stay authentic and stay genuine and not offer anything that is, you know, fake to the audience, because we don't do that. I mean, we're magicians. We always do fake stuff. Well, not fake stuff.
We have to lie honestly.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, and they kind of agree to that when they walk into the theater. Yeah.
So here's the big question. Does the Instagram following, and I assume you've got a fairly big following on Instagram, does that translate into shows, into work?
Yes, it does. Cruise ships I got from that. I work with Misty Knight, who's a magician as well, and she's also an agent. She's seen my work on there, and that's how we became friends. And then she started pitching me to the cruise line. I get a lot of interviews for my social media, and I got this is funny. There's this company in America who's doing, because they're doing a magic show, right? A TV thing, and they can't fly out magicians at the moment because of, well, Corona. So they buy magicians' material online. So they have been looking through my Instagram, and they found 2 videos that they liked, and they bought the rights for it. So that's another way for us to make money right now, you know, sell our stuff, sell our souls, I guess. But I mean, this was videos that I put up 5 years ago. So yeah, that's great.
So you're monetizing your videos retrospectively?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Now, another thing you've been doing that some people know about, and I'm going to put all these links down the bottom too. So things that we're talking about, your Patreon account, the cards, everything, we'll put the links down the bottom. But you've done a number of TED Talks.
I have, yeah, 3 of them so far. Very different. So the first one is called Childlike Wonder. And my grandfather was a magician. So I wrote that talking about I have a theory, but it's not really a theory. It's more like we have a thing here in Sweden that we call the killgissa, which means a guy guess. And it makes sense because, you know, guys have a tendency to guess, and it sounds great. But I have this killgissning where I think that maybe magic is one of the first ways we learn how to communicate with our babies. Because when we do, you know, peekaboo on our babies, they get first like a shock, and then it's a game. And kind of same thing that happens when we do magic for them, I guess. So what if magic is the first type of communication that we learn to understand? And if we don't like magic as grown-ups, we should think about what our parents did to us before the age of, 9 months. But no, don't think about that, because that's just too, dark, I guess. So that was the first one. And my grandfather used to say that a magician's job is not to keep the secrets of magic from the audience, but rather keep it for them. So that's what the talk were basically about. And second one was TEDx. We're doing a 10-year anniversary here in Stockholm where I live, and they wanted me to just do, a show. So that's what I did, which was great. That got me a lot of work because there were a lot of like CEOs and people like that in the audience. I think it was like 700 or 800 people or something. And my agent was there. This like was her business cards. And then the third one was the first one outside the country. I went to Krakow, Poland. And that one, did we ever find a name for? Yeah, Not a Female Magician was the topic. And I've been seeing a lot of, sexism and it's a very interesting thing being a female magician, because people always assume it's very different and it's hard and, but being a woman, I've been like this my entire life. So, I mean, I'm not like feeling like I'm a female magician. I just see myself as a magician. So I was talking about that, how I've seen, like when I go to workshops and sometimes magic conventions where they have like a special line we put female magicians in. Like I was doing this week course 1.5 years ago or something. And during the night, one of the nights, the guys were going to go out for beers, and the girls were going to sit back and, talk about what it's like being a female magician. And I'm like, I like beer more than I like talking about like Tupperware and wine and, So that's something that I've been trying to, crush in the industry. Like we should not put women in a different category. And if you're organizing like a magic convention, don't do like a female night or something, because, and if you are, please invite us early, because we are a bunch of us, like women who are doing great work. Don't invite us like a week in advance, because we're going to be busy. Because it feels like when they do it, it's just very last minute, and they bring on girls who are probably not ready for it. And the audience sees that women are not as good as the men. And that's really hurting us a lot. So if we want to raise the awareness of the women being actually great magicians, we need to, work as that has to be our goal, and it needs to take all the time and focus that it needs. Because currently it's not. We're just saying we want more female magicians, but do we really want it at the cost of what we have to let go of? Like sexism and, tricks where you go into a woman's bra and you bring it out and you make her look like a fool. Or I saw some magician, I can't remember who it was, like a few years ago. He pulled out a bloody tampon of one of the audience members, and I was like, "What are we doing?" It's ridiculous. This might have worked before, but please don't do it anymore.
I'm not quite sure when it worked, if ever.
Yeah.
One of the big challenges, of course, a lot of the female magicians have is the fact that they, everyone says, why are there not more female magicians? But they say, well, we don't feel welcome. There's a patriarchy that's just resistant. And we were talking before about that unusual Facebook group called Memes for Magicians.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whoever started that group, it's, I've been getting into a lot of trouble in that group too, because sometimes, when I'm scrolling through my feed, I see someone posting something there, and there's always like, there's this sexy photos, and there was this photo of, was it Di Vernon sitting with like a stripper on his lap or whatever it was, and I saw so many people like, oh my god, I would love to palm her and do stuff like that, and I was like, what are we doing right now? And we want more people. We want kids. We want girls. We want women to go into this group. And this is what they meet. It's like the biggest group for magicians. And we encourage this stuff. I don't understand. I don't understand.
It's a long road, and it seems to just take forever. But
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe somehow during coronavirus, as people are being more introspective and they've got more time, maybe there's an opportunity to reach out. And I don't know, I'm being too optimistic, aren't I?
Yeah, I don't know. And we had this thing at Magic Live a few years ago too, and Stan Allen, who I love, he's amazing in so many ways. He goes out into the stage on the main, because if you haven't been to Magic Live, there's like it's two things. They have like the actual session ones, which is like a longer one, and then there's like lectures on the other side. And the main thing is always big talks, kind of like TED Talks, about different subjects. It's always very interesting, very rewarding to go to those. And there are so few female performers and lecturers there that it's ridiculous. And one, I think it was 2-3 years ago maybe, Stan walks out in the middle of one of those and he says, oh, it's come to my attention that some people think there are too few female performers doing the stage and, all of that stuff. And then he said something. And this is our new presenter, and it's of course a guy. But what the audience hears is that the organizer says, okay, there are not enough performers. We hear you. Here's your next male presenter. And it's like people know what's happening, but the will to change it is just not there, because it's too infected in a way, isn't it?
It is. I mean, years and years and years ago, I was approached by the Arts Centre here in Melbourne, and they wanted to do a tour where 6 magicians would lead groups through the Arts Centre and look at different things and have magical things happen throughout the tour. And they said, we want 3 male magicians and 3 female magicians. And I said, well, that's great. You're being very proactive. But at this point in time, there are only 2 female magicians in Victoria, and they're not very good. and I'm not being judgmental. They just haven't been doing magic for a long time. And as you mentioned before, the message that we'll send is, here's the male magicians, they're really good. Here's the 2 female magicians, they're not very good. So obviously females can't do magic. And that's the message you get. And they said, no,
Yeah.
we need to show there are the same number of males as females. And I said, well, you're presenting a lie. It would be nice to say that, but you're lying to the audience. And they said, well, if we can't have the 3 males, 3 females, I said, well, let's not do it, because it's not going to happen. And if we bring in 3 females who are not very good compared to 3 magicians who are very good, then you're really doing everybody a disservice. But it's people try. Some people are trying, but they're not trying the right way.
Mm. Yeah, they mean well, I think.
They do.
Yeah.
But I think, as you said, you're a magician.
Yeah.
That's it. There should be no issue with it, but there's always the challenge, the strange behavior that men have towards women.
Yeah. I mean, I might be a woman, but I'm also like a dog lover. I'm a chef. I'm, a university dropout. There are so many things you could call me. Like so many other magicians, by the way. They're all, dropouts of some sort. But that's fine.
Because most magicians are also introverts in essence, so they're probably all enjoying this lockdown time.
Yeah, a lot of us are. Yeah. During my Sharing Magic Live yesterday, I was talking about a new trick that I'm working on, because they were asking me about how I create more stuff. And I don't know if you guys can see, but in the back there are papers on the wall. I'll show you one of them.
Okay.
So this was the one I was talking about yesterday. So these papers are the best, by the way. So these have like static electricity. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And you just put it on the wall, so which is very, very good. So you just put them up like this. And I was showing this trick yesterday. Oh, it's too high up. Okay, this is gonna look so very easy, but it was not. So there we go. So I was talking about this trick yesterday. It's a trick that I've been, thinking about for a while, and it's called signed card to pillow. Because I think that would be fun, wouldn't it? So like, imagine you have this audience, maybe it's a family audience, and you have a pillow fight in the middle of the theater. And there are loads of different pillows, and they're, tossing them, and they're hitting them, and, it's going to be a great war. And then you have someone bring up a pillow, and they can, do this, and they come up, and then you rip it open, and inside there's like a bowling ball that falls out, and then they get to reach in, and there's a signed card inside. I just love that idea so much. I think it's great.
It could be a really weird bank night.
Yes. So I think that's a great idea. And I was talking about this where I have a team of 16 people, and I said that I don't pay them. Well, I pay my agent. But with 16 people, and I pay them with, beer and pizza, because that's how I roll. And because I think that magicians have a tendency to work very much alone, and we forget that it's kind of nice to jam. Like if we take a look at other arts, like musicians, they just sit around. They don't pay like the people before they get into like a recording studio, and when they get like, the royalties and stuff like that, they just go in because they love the art and they have the same vision. And I kind of want the same thing. So with the signed cards to pillow, I'm going to have a competition online where people are going to have, to send in their ideas. And the person who gets selected is going to be part of the team for a while. And I think that's a great idea, because we need more people to, interact with us. And especially as who works as pros, this is a very nice time for us to, create more stuff. But during the high season, it's impossible to create new stuff. We don't have the time because there's so many other things to do. And that's why I have such a big team of people who are, tossing in ideas. Because, sometimes I'm one of those people that sometimes when I have too much to do, I can't see, further than right here, especially when it comes to creating new stuff. And that's why I feel it really helps to have other people come in. And this trick right here, I've not seen anyone do it before. And I just think it's such a great idea. So if you have a couple of weeks now, just figure out something that would be fun. And it doesn't have to be signed card to pillow. Maybe it's a trick I created a few years ago. It's called Banana Awakens, where it's a Star Wars themed trick where you have a banana that gets sliced by itself in the inside of the peel thing. And it's a very old magic trick that I found in Tarbell, like number 1 or 2. that I really liked. And then I kind of liked Star Wars at the time, so I just took the two and I just, this is what it's going to be. And people loved it. And then I stopped doing it because I don't like the smell of bananas on my stage when I perform. So.
Well, the good thing is that also, if you open up as the competition through your Instagram, then you'll get a lot of feedback from non-magicians as well. And sometimes
Yes.
they have the most interesting ideas because they're not limited as magicians often are by method, and they can come up with the most crazy ideas.
Yes, 100%.
Well, we have run out of time, unfortunately, but before we go, would you like to either give us a trick that you're working on or some final words of advice?
Well, the trick I'm working on is signed card to pillow. I'm going to show that when it's done.
You have to come back for that.
Yes. It also puts some pressure on me, which is a good thing right now. Some final advice. So a lot of people right now find themselves have a lot of time. I see people are watching, The Tiger King on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet. And rewatching Game of Thrones. Is it good?
Oh.
Okay, I just saw that they put up some more Suits on Netflix. I love that show. I might watch that actually. But do take some of this time to actually try to create something. As I said, it doesn't have to be signed card to pillow, but find something, just an idea. And what I like to do is to just find an idea that is, so weird that it doesn't sound possible, and then just work with it. So start from the beginning. What do you want it to end? Like for me, I want it to end with a signed card being inside a pillow. I like the idea of having like a big knife come out and, rip it up and have things fall out. That would be really, really fun. And then work forward, I guess, to what would that actually look like? What would the methods be? Don't care about the methods in the beginning because that's going to come to you. But yeah, find something to do. And if you find a trick that you really like and you have a video of it, please send it to me because I would love to see it. Because this time right now, I'm not busy. If you have a video you want me to watch, send it my way. I would love to see it. Don't do that after Corona is over because I don't have the time.
We'll put all the links down below in the description. But thank you so much for spending all this time with your Australian friends and other friends all around the world. Thank you
for having me.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.